All right, so let's make a formal introduction for our listening. Good afternoon, Samuel. My name is Claudio. I'm calling you from Washington, D.C. From the studio in Fairfax City. We're very humble and grateful that Samuel Rohrer accepted our invitation to our show. Samuel, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for inviting me, Claudio.
Sure, no problem. So let's go back to what happened, for last year with the pandemic. Some people believe in the vaccine, some people don't believe in the vaccine, inability to do shows, to tour, to go outside much. How the pandemic is affecting your personal life, your mind, your creativity, all that kind of stuff?
Well, I was in the beginning when it started, I was quite almost relieved to have some time to slow down and to spend time really in my studio to work for on my own projects. And but then of course after a while, and even today, when you see that things develop in really going to difficult places and things are not going back as they should, of course it's not easy to always stay super positive. There are moments where I'm really like, especially lately, it's not always easy to just keep on going and to know why. Sometimes I lose a little bit the aim of why I'm doing all this, because you cannot really go out and present it and share it, and so it turned a little bit from this kind of slowing down into more of a observing. And of course there are some difficulties coming up, because also like financially, and
you guys, you make money when you tour, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
No money coming in, it's hard.
Yeah.
Do you get assistance from the German government as a musician, some funds, or?
Yeah, there was quite soon. There was some support from Berlin.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Then in the end, we have to see how we have to pay this back, or nothing is for free, of course. So, but at least for now, there's some money. Yeah.
It's like a loan for a low interest rate kind of loan for a while. That's what you need to, you're committed to pay back.
It's if you're self-employed, then you get a certain amount to keep up your business in a way.
Yeah, gotcha.
So they support small businesses and single persons, and
yeah. How, were you born like in a musical family? When you began playing, before you went into drums, you were taking piano lessons, right? Is that correct? Or
yes. My father was very much into jazz.
Yeah.
And he took me to jazz concerts when I was like 6-7 years old already. And he was when he was young, he played the double bass.
Yeah.
And but for him it was always a hobby. So
yeah.
But through him I heard, like, he was always listening to Thelonious Monk and Charlie Parker and Ornette Coleman, and so I got used to this music from a very early age. And then he actually also started piano, and then the whole family was into piano playing, and that's how I got there. But my passion was drums. I was always attracted to the drummer when we went to concerts. But then it took quite some time until I was allowed to play drums and to get lessons and all this.
In the house, you needed to convince your dad to buy you like a drum set to wear, or the.
Actually, no. I did when I was 14. I went for a summer job for like 2 weeks, and then I bought my first drum set with this money. And then we were living close to a church, and in the church there was a basement, and I was able to put my drums in this basement and
Wow.
to play there. yeah, so I went there after school. I went every day for a couple of hours and
play, yeah.
spent my time there instead of hanging out with my friends.
Or studying, or studying for school.
Yeah, also, yeah.
And what kind of music when you were, I don't know, 16, 17 years old, still in the gymnasium, like they call in Germany? And what kind of music were you listening to at the time? Remember what band were you listening?
Well, I loved the Police. I was also into Pink Floyd. Yeah, more like rock music, kind of. And then there was a moment I was into hip hop, and of course there was a moment I avoided jazz. As a rebellion, it was not cool to listen what your father loves to listen to.
Gotcha.
But then like when I was 17, I started to go into more like jazz and funk music, and I think I played in my first funk band when I was 17.
I got you. And then, man, I hope it doesn't. It looks like it's going to rain, man. I hope it doesn't. All right. And I hear like people drops here and there. So from there, right? So you went to a school, I think, and you were studying arts, and you end up living in Boston, moving to Boston. I'm not sure. It's
Yeah, I was moving to Boston when I studied in Switzerland first, music.
yeah.
I moved to Boston when I was 20. Yeah. Continued my studies there, but then I went back to Switzerland after 1.5 years. So I was there only for like
short period of time. Yeah.
Semesters. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the school, the Berklee School of Music in Boston?
Yeah, that's where I went. That's what
Yeah, it's a very famous school.
Yeah, exactly.
I have interviewed I have interviewed several people that play there. It's a very famous. And I used to live in Boston, and I moved about 10 years ago here to Washington D.C. It's a very nice area, but it's very cold, man. The winter is tough.
Yeah.
Slow,
It's a beautiful city. I really liked it there.
Yeah. No, very, very nice, man. Very, very nice thing. So when you get back to from Boston, and then you went back to Switzerland, you were already toured in Europe, or you didn't have your first band after that when you came back?
I mean, I think this was also a reason why I went back, because there was always a back and forth going, and I had quite some work in Europe and in Switzerland already. So at some point it just didn't feel right to not be there and to miss all these chances to play like with interesting people, and
yeah,
I decided to go back, and yeah, then quite fast I had a lot of work and was touring in Europe, and yeah,
I got you.
Making nice connections, and was involved in interesting
but you need to make money, man. You were paying all the bills in Boston. Money coming in.
I mean, I then also decided to quit, to stop school in general. So the idea was to go back to Europe and finish the studies there, but then it just didn't feel like the right thing. So I decided to just play and
yeah, I got you.
do my projects, and yeah.
And then after that you put I don't know how to pronounce it, the AMBIG, Ambig.
Ambig. No, but this happened in Berlin. This happened when I moved to Berlin in 2003.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And then I was very much involved in the jazz scene here.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know exactly, 8 years ago, I started to get more interested into electronic music, and I met a lot of interesting producers and musicians in that field. And then I somehow morphed from one scene to another, And then Ambik, I think, started 8 years ago or something.
And that's what the, I don't know if I
Right?
should, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me move inside. Give me 1 minute. Let me pause the recorder, okay?
Okay, sure.
All right, so you were with that, you were mentioned early 2000, and I was listening to the two albums that you guys released in 2014, I believe, and 2015. How that particular trio with Max and Claudio Puntin came together? You guys knew each other before, or?
Yeah, with Claudio, I worked a lot.
Yeah.
I had my own trio with him and Peter Herbert, and there was a project with a Dutch piano player, Wolfert Brederode. We recorded some 2 records for ECM.
Yeah.
So with Claudio, I was very much working for quite a while, and actually Max and Ricardo Villalobos, they did a remix LP with some ECM music, and one of the pieces was one of the tracks which Claudio and I were involved. So that's how I actually first discovered Max Lodebauer, and then Claudio met him and they played together, and so we started. That's how it came together. So
I got you. I got you. It's very good music, right? That's what I told you last night when I was listening to that last night. It took me a while to get a feel in your music. It's
yeah.
very different. So at the beginning, the first time I listened to a band, I didn't understand that. Then the second time, third time, and then after many times listening to a particular album in Spotify, I get a sense of your stuff and how that, it has evolved over time. And man, it's very, very good stuff, man.
Thank you.
It's very, very.
It was always the difficulty with this band was that it doesn't fit anywhere. So yeah, it's interesting, and I really loved to also like to work on these releases and to bring it out and all this, but then it didn't really go further because I think for many people it was difficult to place it in a genre or in a people like to put things in a box. So then it was not easy to actually bring it.
Did you guys end up selling records and touring with that or no?
Well, selling records, no, not much, but there was a moment where we played quite a bit, yeah. So some festivals, mostly in Europe. We had a little tour in South America. We went to Chile also.
Oh, you went to Chile? Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Santiago, I think that was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I haven't seen much, but I was always hoping to go back to travel around and mostly into the south. I would love to. Yeah,
Chile is always, as you know, it's a very long country, right? So all the German community is in south of Chile. The south. That's what the Germans are. That's what my ancestor are right there. And the north is very dry with the desert, so it's good to see both ways. You need to see the north and. You remember where did you play in Santiago? No, you don't remember the theater or the.
No, it was a little festival. It went on for 2-3 days in a quite big venue, but I don't.
Yeah, and then people like the music. Where?
Yeah. No, it was a nice.
Good opportunity, good experience.
Yeah, meeting interesting people also. Yeah.
Good for you, man. I'm glad you liked it. And then you feel free to elaborate on your the first album that you have in your own record label, Arjunamusic. I think it's called. I don't know how to pronounce it. Noria.
Yeah. This was also Claudio was involved there as well.
Yeah.
So this came out almost 10 years ago now. It was the beginning of my label.
Yeah.
Yeah, the so-called starting point, maybe. Yeah.
And then why did you decided to open a record label and do self-releases instead of going to a company? You knew that you wanted to do that. It was financial reason that you said, well, I'm better off opening my own thing than going to a major record label, or was because your kind of music is very different from other people that perhaps you will have a hard time selling the record with a record label, or what was the
I mean that there were possibilities to release it on other labels, but I don't know. I think it was kind of also the adventure which attracted me, and also the idea of starting to really create this mix of electronics and acoustic instruments. And I just had this idea in mind that I want to create a platform for this kind of music, which, I mean, at that point I didn't play so much in that field, but I just had the idea of going for it and also creating my own platform to release it, because I felt it was difficult to place it somewhere, and I didn't want to end up on a label where it doesn't really, I mean, you can release it there, but then it doesn't really fit. Or so yeah, my idea was to just create this label to have possibilities to also to push myself more and to go into this direction musically.
And then you have several artists on the record label, right? Not just your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's all music which is somehow connected to to my projects, or to or I'm also involved in the music, but yeah, it's quite broad. Yeah, but I never started to release other people's music. Actually, it's always projects which are my own, or I'm working with.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to become a label manager or a producer for other people. That was not my goal, or spending my time and my money on that I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm quite sure several people kind of ask you, hey, can I release your stuff under your label, or this or that? It could be.
Yeah. This happens a lot. Oops, sorry, just a second. Excuse me.
No problem.
Yeah, of course this happens, and sometimes I receive a lot of also interesting music which I enjoy to listen to, but at the end of the day I have to let this go, because I would spend all my time becoming a label boss.
Yeah. How many albums do you have on that label now?
I think now
15 or
I think it's 21 now.
Yeah. So a lot of people buy kind of your music when someone like myself is interested in buying that kind of music. They go to the record label, or they go to Bandcamp. How that work when you want to sell your?
Well, I have a distribution, so they distribute it to all the shops which are still existing, and they distribute all the digital platforms, and then I do the Bandcamp site. There I sell the most there, basically. Or of course, if you play concerts, then you can sell quite a lot of records. But this is
And at the end of the show, people want to take a picture with you, autograph the CD and then sell it.
Yeah.
Do you have everything on vinyl as well, or primarily CDs?
No, not everything, but I started maybe 6-7 years ago to produce vinyl, and now I slowly start to drop CDs, because it's running out. Not many people buy CDs anymore. It's either digital or vinyl, which I think is interesting for now.
Yeah, yeah. Vinyl came back about what 6-7 years ago. Yeah,
Mm.
I have a lot of music. I mean, I have, I don't know, like 5,000 CDs and I don't know, 3,000 vinyls, whatever. I have 4 floors full of music and different
Wow.
levels. And
Wow.
yeah, for me, music, vinyl, but I like both. I like vinyl, of course, when I'm in the car, going to a show, bring CDs and
Yeah,
digital. Sometimes I buy, but I'm glad you're selling vinyl. It's a big, it's a lot of people buying vinyl. Many shops here where I live in Washington, they're opening with huge collection of vinyl. I don't know, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. There are a lot of big shops here. I mean, always in Berlin, you can, every other street will have a, record store there and for vinyl.
Yeah, it's also a difficult time, of course, for record shops these days. So I think the most goes on digital platforms, or Bandcamp is also working.
How's the situation in Germany with the COVID? Is it still now open completely or not yet?
I mean, things open slowly, but in Germany, I mean, I know that in Switzerland it was open much sooner, and people were allowed to play concerts much sooner. In Germany, everything is a little bit laid back. So there are some clubs are open, but it's mostly clubs which are outside.
Yeah.
And concert like theaters and concert halls, they are closed. There's nothing happening.
I think when that will open, like in a couple of months or no yet?
I've seen things scheduled for September.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't trust anything anymore. Could also happen that in August they say, now we have to close down everything again, and I don't know. Yeah.
Here, all the venues will open on September 1st.
The venue.
Yeah, all the venues.
Yeah.
But right now there are several that are open already. I mean, little by little. And I'm going to a show tonight, as a matter of fact. So and I went to a show two shows last week, and yeah, little by little, all of them are opening up. Still, people that have not, received the vaccine, so it's like a gamble, But I got my vaccine about 3 months ago, but I don't know. Hopefully, things will calm down. We'll be back to normal, man.
But many states in the US are open since a long time, no?
Yeah. Every state is kind of independent, so they can do kind of their own thing, right? So, no different that venues in Berlin could be closed, but venues in Munich could be open, or in Düsseldorf or Cologne or whatever. They're independent, dependent of the number of cases on the particular state.
Yeah.
But here in kind of the border with Virginia, Washington, and Maryland, a lot of people have received the vaccine, so more and more venues are open, completely open, both closed and open venues. So, and then September 1st, all the big bands are begin coming here to town. So, all the big names will start playing, coming here to play in September, October, November. Genesis, for example, is coming here. Genesis is going to be doing like 10, 20 tours in here in the United States, and many of the big names. So I'm looking forward to seeing those shows as well, man. Feel free to tell me about your collaboration and then with ECM. That's, for me, it's a record label that I've always been interested in. So feel free to elaborate on that.
I had the chance when I was after coming back from Boston, when I was quite young. I was working with this Dutch Swiss singer, Susanne Abbuehl, and with her we went to make a record with Manfred. I think I was 22 or something, and from there, yeah, that was quite exciting. And that because I listened, of course, to a lot of great records from this label, so it was a big moment for me to go there. Also to the Rainbow Studio in Oslo, the old one, which was really a nice place to work. And yeah, and then from there several other projects came up with Manfred.
Yeah. Is Manfred still alive? Is he still working now?
Yeah, he's still working. I think he was not very well since 2 years maybe, but he does release things, and he's also sometimes going to do a record here and there. But I think he slowed down very much now.
Yeah, that somebody told me that was sick. Yeah, I tried to get a hold of him because I would love to. I'm going to be interviewing in the next 2 months. Owners from other record labels, and I'm trying to get a hold of Manfred as well. Would be good. And I have, I love ECM, and I have, I don't know, 50 or 60 vinyl CDs, if no more, from that record label. I like the record labels, and especially the stuff that they began doing at the beginning. So, was quite a visionary.
Yeah.
Working it. So, I would
Yeah.
definitely I wanna get a hold of him if possible. And and then on 2017 you did your first record. I think it's called Range of Regularity, right?
Range of
Range of,
Regularity. Yeah.
and then so here's the question: you have been touring for a while, and then why it took so long, if you don't mind asking the question, to release your own thing after you have played with so many people? It to go on your own yourself, a solo project, instead of keep on collaborating with other people. What was the motivation behind that?
Well, I mean, I always had my projects going, but I never really pushed it very far. And very often I wrote music, and then I went to a studio with some musicians and released it, and then I never really had the fire or the urge to really go far with the production like that. And then at some point, when I went more into, when I saw how people work in the electronic music field, that everybody is working on their own music in their own studio, this was inspiring for me to just be able to sit down and really create your own vision of the music, of your personal music. So you don't need to write music down and then actually find the right people to play it. So you try to create all by yourself, which was was a challenge and an interesting new approach for me. But I always wrote music, and I played this music with my projects, but the step to really go out with my solo project, but and to step out as a solo artist, this happened only like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Just also because I realized lately how important it is to be flexible, to be able to create something by yourself also.
Yeah.
Especially in these days where there's less and less money for culture, and the fees go down and down. So it makes also sense to be able to tour by yourself. So.
Absolutely right. In the best year of your life, looking back, how many tours? How many gigs were you doing, like in a year, in general?
I mean, there was a moment I played, I don't know, around 120 concerts a year, maybe, or more. Like all the time, every weekend. Yeah. But this is something I don't miss this so much. I mean, I really prefer these days. I prefer to focus on just a few projects and then play less concerts, but more. Yeah, like the quality should rise. You know, like play in nice venues with interesting people, and that for a while it was just important to play as much as possible with everyone, and which was of course a great way to learn. But yeah, I don't need to go back to this.
And you were playing all over the world.
Yeah, but it was nice. I mean, I had I had a good time traveling and seeing the world and playing music, and yeah.
But it's tough on the other hand, because if you have like a family or whatever, you know, you need to catch a flight, go to a hotel, take a bath, fly, whatever, and toward the end it get, you know, you don't even remember what city were you or the name of the hotel or.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it can be quite confusing to be every day in a different city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tiring, and it's difficult to. I mean, you have to be really comfortable with yourself, because you don't have a place where you feel home, because you're never. I was living in Berlin, but I was never here, and I never really connected with people here so much, because if you are here for like a few days and then you leave again for a week, and then it's not possible to have friends here, really.
You like living there in Berlin, or you plan to move down the road, or Berlin is home for now?
Right now it's perfect. It's summer. It's good. I mean, but since a few years, I have the feeling I have to move on. I mean, I would prefer to live in the countryside now, and it gets very, very busy right now lately.
You prefer to live like outside the big cities, outside the big buildings, and
Yeah. I just have to figure out how and where, and yeah.
Switzerland is the place to be.
Yeah, I love Switzerland. It's beautiful, but
Very expensive too, right? Yeah.
it's expensive, maybe a bit too. I don't know. I still would love to experience a different culture, something that shows me something different. I don't want to go back to where I'm coming from. I need to move on still.
Go to Latin America, man. Maybe you move to Chile or something.
Yeah, why not, huh?
Or Argentina. You will like it then.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So let's talk about the latest stuff you have done with the Dark Star Safari. You know, is that the first project that you have done? No, you have done other stuff with them. I mean, feel free to elaborate in the walkthrough likely, and then, you know, how many records you have done, the bands, because it's a very, very interesting stuff. What you sent me, I listened to it, I really liked it. So feel free to elaborate as much as you can in that, you know.
Well, this walk through lightly is like the second album with this project.
Yeah.
So the first one came out in 2019, and it was actually, it started I was inviting Jan Bang and Eivind Aarset to Berlin to do a trio session of improvised music. And I had in the back of my mind, I had this idea of I could maybe afterwards either add strings, like I had this vague idea of maybe I could find a string quartet and they would maybe add some textures, or the other idea was to maybe depending on where the music goes, we could maybe add some vocals and sending the music to someone, and then they would maybe write some lyrics and so on. And after the recording session, like maybe 1 month later, Jan sent me out of the blue like one piece that we actually played in the studio as an improvisation. He just added vocals on top, and he asked Eric Honoré, his friend, they worked together also for a very long time, to write lyrics. And I was so surprised. I was almost shocked to hear that, because he didn't tell me that he's going to do that. It was really like a surprise. But it was, of course, it was amazing. It was beautiful. So he went on with this. Yeah. And in the end, we had like 10 or 11 songs, which were based on improvisations. But then on top of that, he created melodies, and Eric wrote the lyrics. And so it was like a song album in the end, which was a very interesting process. And also for me, yeah, an incredible learning process to see how from one thing that started like very like intuitively, all of a sudden it becomes something very defined and very clear, and yeah, like a band project, where everyone is like creating their parts to it. So, and then yeah, we started actually the second album somehow in the same way, with improvising music all together. And then from there we took parts and either recorded new elements to it, or yeah, from there we just produced songs.
When is that going to be released to the public? It's soon, right?
In September, end of September 24.
Yeah. And then have you been sending different portions to some radio station or some of your friends or social media? How have been the reception of the album? Because it's quite good, man. The two things that I listened to is very, very good album, man.
But I sent you the whole album, no?
You sent me just a YouTube clip.
Ah, I thought I sent you a link to download the whole album, actually.
Or maybe I need to check it out. Maybe.
Yeah. There should be, yeah. But I mean, so far we just started the promotion, so this started maybe a week ago.
Yeah.
To send it to press and radios. So there's not much feedback right now, but I'm sure it's gonna be received well, because I think it's
Samuel, it's a very good album, man. You guys need to promote it and do gigs, do record, all the record, radios, and then begin playing, because people are going to like that stuff.
Yeah, I hope it will be possible at least next year to go on tour and play more again. Yeah,
but it's going to be difficult because some of you are, don't live, Eivind is in Norway, and then you were telling me that Jan is in Iceland. It will be hard to coordinate everybody,
Yeah, no, they are all living in Norway, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, but of course it's not easy to bring us together, but it's also kind of normal. I mean, I'm used to this. I mean, I was always involved in projects with Dutch people or French or Portuguese, so it's also normal that you cannot just meet up like that.
Yeah. And then what, hopefully you will tour with the band and make some money, because record the investment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's beautiful to work on music and to release it and to be involved in the whole process from the creation of the music until the final product. But then it needs to go on. You have to perform and to play it live, of course.
Yeah,
that's the whole idea of the thing. But yeah, right now this part is a little bit more complicated.
Waiting on. Feel free to elaborate if you can pick, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 band that their musical influences on your type of music. What would you say they were?
Like me, what? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. So what would you think will be? Can you elaborate on your musical influences in the?
Oh,
Because
well,
your music is hard to. It's not ambient. It's not Brian Eno. It's different. It has a texture, a combination of rock and sometimes jazz, sometimes ambient music. It's very different for anything that I have heard. Feel free to elaborate in any.
there's so many influences, you know. I mean, I was when I was studying music, I mean, Elvin Jones was for me like a big hero when I was like early 20s. So, um, then, or like Jaki Liebezeit, the drummer of Can.
Yeah.
He's also a big influence for me.
Mhm.
But like, let's say, like if you look at drummers, but then musically in general, I mean, there's so much. I cannot name just 2-3 things. I mean, I love to listen to Indian raga music, or to yeah, I would not also not call it ambient, but it has maybe it opens a certain room with a certain atmosphere, but then it can be still quite obscure and or rhythmical.
Yeah.
But of course, there are lots of producers here in Berlin, like Ricardo Villalobos, which I adore a lot as a producer, and I worked with him a couple of times. Or Bernd Friedman, which I think is also an excellent producer. Yeah, I mean, there's such a rich scene here of electronic music. But I started to understand that this field of like combining acoustic music and electronics in a way of when you produce tracks and music, I mean, it's not so much not so developed yet. I mean, there's so much to experiment with and to try to blend sounds and elements together. Yeah, there's a lot of room for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to interview in the past several drummers. Paul Vertigo, that played with Bänz Oester Group. Simon Philip, that used to be with Toto, and it's a lot of great people. Well, in every country, it's a lot of great musicians out there, man. So and in Berlin being the capital of, I don't know, maybe electronic music in the world, so well known for that. It's so many producers, so many great artists on there.
Yeah, I must say, for me, the moment where I switched from playing acoustic jazz music or improvised music to more electronic music, it gave me another, like, a kick somehow to look for something more personal, maybe, and also something that challenged me again. I think I was at some point a little bit maybe tired of doing the same thing again and again, maybe in different variations, but yeah, it was very inspiring for me to actually meet new people and get involved in for me at least, in a new way of being able to create a music which was in the end very personal.
I got you. Yeah, no, I understand. Man, you have toured all over the world. If you look back in your life, any particular gigs or venues that you look back and it's always going to be back in your mind, that everything worked well, the crowd was great, the sound was great? Is any, and probably the worst gig that you ever played? You have memory, the best and the worst. And you have memories on the stuff, or maybe not the worst, but the best, probably the best venue, the best, the crowd, everything worked like a Swiss clock. Perfect.
That's a difficult question, but a very a good place to be and to play is actually the Punkt Festival, which is organized by Jan Bang and Erik Honoré in Kristiansand in Norway.
Yeah.
It's a quite a small festival, but they have always very interesting featured artists, and I mean the sound engineers are. I mean the Norwegian scene is really interesting, and everything is at high level. Like the visuals are beautiful, and the sound is good, and people are great, and the programming is very unique and interesting, and it's more like a family kind of feeling there. It's quite small.
And is that festival organized every year? Do you know? Or?
It's every year, yeah. It's also this year in September, but I think now it's more like a smaller version, like mostly Norwegian people.
Yeah.
But it's I think it was even happening last year. Yeah.
I knew the name, but I never been in Norway. I will need to check it out to see who is going to be playing.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Maybe I will go there, man. I have two more questions, and then so you were mentioned that so you hopefully what are the plans for your nearest future for you? The idea is to tour with that with Dark Star Safari, and then do some gigs in Europe. The plan?
Yeah, but you know, right now there's so little, like, I mean, nobody can really plan anything. I mean, what you can do is, I have a few things now in August, September, October, maybe November, but after that, I mean, people try to fix stuff, and it's nobody knows what's really happening. But you know, like besides the concerts which are coming or not, for me, next few months, I just focus on studio work and recording music, and because this is the only thing you can, this is
now you have the time to do it, right?
And you have the time to do it, and it's also something it's possible to do, and you don't need to work on planning things, and then at the end of the day it's not working anyway. But of course, in the long term, yeah, then it should be again like playing music and touring. But I guess, I don't know, but right now it feels like it's not going to be happening in the same amount as before. It's probably less concerts, but maybe well chosen, and yeah.
I got you. Yeah. And then so feel free to elaborate on your name of the website and where the listener can buy your music and so forth.
Well, my label is called Arjunamusic.
Yeah.
So you find a website, arjunamusic.com, or on Bandcamp you can find everything. Or also, of course, on my personal website, samuelrohrer.com.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There you get all the information. I mean, if it's updated, but the label website is actually updated, and there you can find everything.
Yeah. Well, and I like also the website design is very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like it. Very comprehensive. So very, very well put together. So I'm happy that you did that.
Thank you. Oh, I was actually thinking of it would need an update, but if you say so, then I can.
Oh, no, I'm a computer engineer, so
Okay.
It's very. No, I like it. I mean, you gotta keep on updating behind the scene, and but it works. It's very well together. With different color, with the different tasks, your bio, your tours, and no, I wouldn't change it. I will keep on updating and put more picture. Keep on the news. Keep on updating monthly. I've been working this. I've been working that. I'm going to be in a session with that person. I have released a new record. Go to Arjuna. So you know, do more kind of marketing stuff in the news area that you have, but it's very well put together. So
yeah, I think that there needs to come back this kind of flow, you know, to release things and to be able to let it out and communicate about it. I mean, of course, right now everything is a little bit on hold and everything is a bit slowed down, and sometimes, yeah, at least for me, it's difficult to keep on that level of giving out information if you don't know if anybody is actually able to, or yeah, there's no concerts, there's no
people that buy your music want to know what's going on with you. You know, where you play, what the plans are, whether they happen or not. That's another story because it's beyond your control. But
yeah,
keep on update the news with pictures, what the stuff you're working on, the musicians, and keep up the good work. Don't you know, keep on working, man. Your stuff is good, man.
Thank you.
You know, the pandemic will go away soon, 1 month, 2 months, whatever, but you know, sometimes people get the morale low and they get depressed, man, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No, keep on working, man. Keep on working hard every day, releasing new music. Now that you have the time, eventually you will start touring and you say, man, I don't have the time to
Exactly,
do
yeah.
new music. So take advantage of the time, man.
Exactly. I mean, that's my plan, to really focus on producing music these days. I met Orhan Ambarchi. I don't know if you know Orhan Ambarchi. He's a very interesting guitar player from Australia.
No, so feel free to send me an email with it because I'm always looking for new people to interview in the radio.
Yeah.
So feel free to.
He's into very experimental electronic music. Sometimes almost noise, but it's beautiful, very poetic.
Yeah.
And so we start slowly some collaborations, which is very inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ping Young Bang because I like his voice, to see if I can interview him, and the owner of, you know, the founder of ECM Record as well.
Yeah.
I can go to get a hold of them because
Yeah.
I would love to interview them for the show.
Yeah, of course, that would be super interesting.
If I can get a hold of them.
Sometimes
people are difficult, you know, difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy, but
yeah,
maybe you catch the right moment.
Exactly right. Keep them every 2 months, send an email. So eventually they will.
Yeah.
All right, Samuel, thank you very much for your time, and have a great afternoon. And hopefully, I'm going to be going to. I think I'm going to go the first week of November. I'm going to be in Germany. Going to Munich, I think, a couple of days, Berlin, and then Frankfurt to visit some musicians, actually.
Okay.
Some people from Tangerine Dream, some people from that played with Klaus Schulze, and a bunch of other people that through the interviews, right? They have invited me. So I need to go. So
yeah, interesting.
So hopefully we'll get together for dinner or beer in Berlin or something.
Yeah, let me know when you're here.
I will let you know in advance, man. Well, I hope to see you playing in here in the United States soon, man.
Yeah, I hope so. I would love to come over.
All right, man. Take it easy, Samuel, man. Nice to meet you, man. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Hey, no problem. Take it easy, man.
Bye-bye. Ciao.